The alarm felt heavier than usual today. Not painful,
just difficult enough to make silence
sound attractive for a little longer.
My body moves slowly through familiar routines.
Socks on the floor, cold water on my face.
Shoes waiting quietly near the doorway again.
There was a time I mistook energy for commitment. Thoughts, strong effort, always look sharp, confident, fully awake.
Very tired, still present,
Not shiny,
not inspired,
just here again.
breathing through another morning without needing
To feel unstoppable first.
some fatigue lives deeper than muscles do.
Hidden inside schedules,
Unfinished thoughts,
long weeks that never fully settled into rest.
and still something continues, returning to these roads, to this rhythm, to the quiet agreement.
Between movement and survival,
I expected endurance,
to feel stronger,
more dramatic,
more certain,
but often it arrives
soft-spoken and nearly invisible.
very tired, still present,
Became its own form of resilience.
not explosive, not impressive.
Just honest enough to keep showing up.
For someone,
Fatigue comes from work,
for someone,
from loneliness,
for someone,
from carrying pressure
without language.
for too long.
And most of it goes unnoticed, because exhausted people
Still answer messages,
still go to work
still tie their shoes.
quietly.
The older I become, the more I admire
Gentle persistence,
this kind that survives
without needing attention.
to continue existing.
Very tired, still present,
Still matters deeply,
because some days remaining visible to yourself
is already a meaningful victory. People talk about ambition,
because it sounds beautiful.
but exhaustion teaches things
Ambition never could.
about patience,
About fragility,
about staying human.
and maybe strength isn't always intensity.
Maybe sometimes it's choosing not to disappear
During difficult years,
that ask you to fade quietly.
very tired, still present.
That's how some people survive.
Not perfectly,
Not gracefully,
just steadily enough
to remain alive inside themselves.
heavy eyes,
Steady steps, still here. There are winters that stay too long, dark mornings where even small movement felt unreasonable against the weight of everything else. Shoes by the door began negotiations, not habits. Some nights I slept wearing exhaustion like another layer of clothing. I used to believe discipline looked sharp, focused, consistent, but difficult seasons made everything less elegant than that. Long roads through hard seasons, that's what changed me most. Not perfect training blocks, not easy momentum. Just continuing slowly while life pressed hard against my chest. Some runs carried anger, some carried grief, some carried nothing at all except the need to leave the house before my thoughts grew louder. And certain roads absorbed everything silently. Streetlights, rain-soaked sidewalks, bridges crossed half awake before sunrise arrived again. I expected progress to feel rewarding, but sometimes growth felt more like survival, repeated quietly over longer stretches than anyone noticed. Long roads through hard seasons built endurance differently, not only in muscle but rarely talk about endurance. The slow kind, the invisible kind, the version that keeps moving without certainty for months at a time. And maybe resilience isn't loud determination. Maybe it's returning softly to the same road. Even after difficult seasons change your entire rhythm. Long roads through hard seasons made me slower in some ways, but deeper in others. Now I understand why certain waters carry calmness inside. Tired eyes, cold wind, long road, still here. Here. Some roads disappear the moment you leave them, forgotten quickly beneath newer places, new routines, new versions of yourself. But certain roads remain with unsettling detail, cracks in the sidewalk, the sound of crossing lights, cold air rising from empty rivers before sunrise. At the time they felt temporary, just somewhere to train, somewhere to clear my head. I didn't realize memory was building itself there quietly. Certain roads never leave you, even after years pass. They return suddenly through weather, through silence, through the way your chest tightens on difficult mornings. There's one long stretch where I nearly gave up, one intersection where anger carried me forward, one bridge where exhaustion finally turned into acceptance. And somehow those places kept aging beside me, their meanings deepening as life became heavier. Less about performance, more about endurance in ordinary days. I used to believe growth belonged to races, to results, to measurable things. But looking back now, some of the deepest changes happened alone on silent roads. Certain roads never leave you, because part of you remained there, not physically but emotionally stored somewhere inside your breathing and posture. For someone, a road becomes healing. For someone, unfinished grief. For someone, the only place where their thoughts stop running first. And none of those meanings stay fixed forever. Time reshapes every memory until pain itself starts looking softer from enough distance away. The older I become, the more I understand. Certain roads witnessed versions of me nobody else fully saw at the time. Certain roads never leave you, not because they were perfect, but because they carried you through seasons you weren't sure you would survive gracefully. Most people think roads are background scenery, but some become archives holding breath, fear, hope, and unfinished conversations with yourself. And maybe we revisit them not to relive the past, but to recognize how far we've quietly traveled since those lonely mornings. Certain roads never leave you, they continue living inside your instincts, inside your resilience, inside the strange calm that appears now when hard things begin again. Old pavement, new heartbeat, still remembering.
Colder enters, sharper than usual, lungs adjusting slowly against the morning, while thousands of footsteps shuffle softly behind barricades.
Zippers closing, watches glowing, someone laughing too loudly to hide their nerves, paper cups trembling
Slightly
inside tired hands.
I checked my pace band 3 times already, even though I memorized it weeks ago.
Nothing left to prepare except myself, breathing before the gun.
Every inhale feels louder
Then the crowd, like my body,
is trying to negotiate
with what's coming.
The start line never looks real until you stand there inside it, heart moving faster than the music through the speakers.
Some runners stare forward, some stretch in silence, some keep talking because stopping would leave them alone with their thoughts too long.
Months of training reduce themselves into this narrow space between anticipation and fear, between standing still
And release, breathing before the gun,
holding together everything
I carried here,
through dark mornings, injured weeks.
and unfinished doubt.
For someone this is redemption,
For someone,
unfinished business,
for someone,
the first attempt at becoming
someone braver. And all those meanings gather quietly beneath race bibs, beneath calm faces, beneath controlled breathing that isn't fully controlled at all.
The older I get, the more I realize courage rarely feels heroic. Usually it sounds like breathing
Carefully while waiting to begin anyway. Breathing before the gun,
I can feel every year that
brought me here,
every version of myself
standing together inside this heartbeat before motion begins.
People think races begin with movement,
But sometimes they begin earlier,
inside the silence.
before the countdown finishes.
And maybe breathing isn't preparation, maybe it's the final conversation
Between fear and commitment,
before they merge into action.
breathing before the gun,
The world narrows
beautifully. Nothing exists now
except cold air
steady hands and the promise.
to keep moving.
Deep inhale, stillness, breaks start.
Bone traces faded faster than expected. Photos buried, results forgotten.
Conversation shortened
Into how'd it go?
a few days later.
But some finishes never left, not because of medals or time on screen. Something else attached itself to memory.
I can still recall certain final turns, the texture of breathing under stadium lights.
The strange silence inside, exhaustion when everything narrowed.
Some finish lines stay forever, not in headlines, not in records, but somewhere deeper, wherever.
Stopped being performance and became truth.
One finish held relief, another held grief. One felt like survival, another like apology.
To a version of myself I almost abandoned years earlier.
And somehow the body stored all of it in heartbeat patterns and certain dawns.
And the way my chest tightens before
Difficult starts, even now.
I used to think finishes measured success, but some only revealed what mattered enough to carry
Beyond the day itself, some finish lines stay forever because they changed the conversation between who I was and who kept running afterward.
For someone,
It's crossing alone.
for someone hearing their name.
For someone, it's realizing.
They endured something they once feared.
And none of those moments age the same way. Certain endings deepen instead of fading as years continue quietly.
nonetheless I separate. Running from living, both leave marks that only reveal meaning.
After enough distance from the moment itself, some finish lines stay forever.
Not because they ended something,
but because they quietly began a different version of your life.
people remember victories for a while,
But the soul remembers
specific efforts for reasons language struggles to hold.
And maybe certain races never truly finish. They continue existing inside posture,
Inside resilience,
inside the way you return to hard things. Some finish lines stay forever.
I carry them still through ordinary mornings,
Through aging legs, through every road that asks who I became after crossing them. Tape long gone, memory intact, still finishing.
The question arrived between breaths, not dramatic, not heavy, just quietly placed somewhere beside the road. My knees answered first before my thoughts did. Small stiffness, lingering longer than it used to after colder mornings. There was a time I ran toward things, records, recognition, proof that effort could become something visible. How long will I keep running? Long enough to recognize the person who keeps returning to this road before sunrise. The pace no longer defines everything. Some days I notice other things, the sound of breathing settling into rhythm. Again, I've stopped measuring worth only through speed, because some victories arrive quietly inside endurance. People assume running ends when ambition fades, but maybe that's where a different reason begins. How long will I keep running until movement feels more honest than standing still? Until these streets stop feeling like conversation. For someone running is escape, for someone structured. For someone it's the 1 hour their thoughts finally loosen. And none of those reasons remain unchanged. They evolve with seasons, with age, with whatever life removes or leaves behind. I no longer believe consistency means intensity. Sometimes continuing looks slower, quieter, less impressive from the outside. How long will I keep running? Probably longer than my goals, because somewhere along the years this stopped being a challenge and became part of my language. Not every runner is chasing improvement. Some are preserving something fragile inside themselves. And maybe the finish line changes shape once you realize the road itself was carrying you to. How long will I keep running until the mornings feel unfamiliar without it? Until my body says no more clearly than my heart does. Older shoes, same dawn, still answering the road. Same alarm, same shoes, same street lights, waiting outside. Nothing about this morning looked different from the last one. The body moved before thought arrived. Coffee cooling, breath adjusting. Small habits stacked quietly into motion. I used to search for dramatic change, something visible, something immediate. A moment that proved I was improving. Growth inside routine doesn't announce itself. It settles slowly between repeated steps, until one day the familiar feels lighter. There were runs I barely remembered, days
naturals, nothing worthy of recording at the time. Still something kept shaping, not loudly, not clearly, just gradually through repetition and return. I check numbers, pace charts, weekly totals, looking for proof while most of it was happening elsewhere. Growth inside routine builds beneath the tension, inside ordinary effort, inside the choice to continue when nothing feels new. For someone it's discipline, for someone ability, for someone it's 1 hour where life finally slows down. And none of it looks impressive, still it changes how they stand, how they breathe, how they carry days. No breakthrough arrives suddenly, no perfect run define me, just repetition meeting time again and again. Growth inside routine still remains, still builds, not because it was exciting, but because it continued honestly. Most growth looks ordinary while it's happening quiet enough to be mistaken for nothing. And what you repeat through enough mornings might shape you more deeply than ambition ever could. Growth inside routine became part of me, not through intensity, not through pressure, just through returning before the sun fully rose. Same morning, different self, still becoming.
The numbers change slightly, nothing dramatic, just enough to notice after I stopped the watch. No explosion, no waste voice, just breathe, settling into a body that knew it went further.
I used to think records arrived all at once, clear moments, clean victories, easy to name. Still updating my record, not only time, not only pace, just rewriting what I thought I could hold for this long.
Some progress never shows until one day something familiar feels lighter than before. The road stayed unchanged, same turn, same distance, still I move through it differently.
I've chased numbers for meaning, looked at screens for proof, but this felt quieter than that. Still updating my record without announcing, without display, just another layer added through repetition and return. For someone it's pain, for someone consistency, for someone it's simply not stopping this time.
And none of it looks alike,
Still it changes,
the shape of who they become.
no final version to reach, no perfect number to hold, just movement that keeps expanding. Still updating my record,
Still counts,
still grows,
still grows.
not because it's public, but because I know what changed.
Records aren't only broken
Some are slowly redefined,
through ordinary days,
repeated honestly. And what improves over time might be deeper than anything a result can show. Still updating my record is how I live right now, not finished, not complete, just further than the version before. New ground, same as theirs, but no one tracks where I am. Just another stride in the middle of everything. I've seen them pass, heard the cheers, felt the shift when someone leads, but none of it lands here. The runner no one notices, still runs, still stays, not in front, not behind, just somewhere they don't name. For someone this is everything, for me just today. No record, I need a break, no place to claim. Still I move through distance without a mark, without a call, just step by step, holding my own line. I've thought about going faster, pushing more, being seen, but something in me never needed that. The runner no one notices, doesn't fade, doesn't stop, just continues in a way that doesn't ask to be known. They pass me, I pass them, no moment stays long enough to mean what I thought it would. And still this road includes me, not loudly, not clearly, but fully. No spotlight to hold, no silence to break, just movement that stays its own. The runner no one notices, still counts, still builds, not because it's seen, but because it exists. Not every run is a story, some are just lived without telling, and what you do without being seen might be the most honest form of it. The runner no one notices became how I run, not louder, not different, just mine from start to end. No name, no call, still running. I moved ahead just enough, not a sprint, not a surge, just a shift that placed me in front. Their footsteps fell behind, not far, still close, but something in the sound changed. I've imagined this closing the gap, moving past, being ahead, a moment that meant something. After I passed them, nothing arrived, no rush, no lift, just space where something should have been. The pace stayed steady, no break, no fall, still the weight didn't change the way I thought it would. The road looked the same, no mark, no line, just distance, continuing without reaction. I've chased this for miles, a place to reach, but standing here felt quieter than expected. After I passed them, no answer came, no meaning attached, just motion that didn't shift inside. For someone it's relief, for someone just silence, for someone it's a question they didn't plan to ask, and none of it shows in the stride, still it stays in the space they carry forward. No one turns, no one calls, no signal to confirm, just the sound of fewer steps behind. After I pass them, still counts, still holds, not because I won, but because something stayed unanswered. Not every goal fills the space, some reveal what wasn't there to begin with. And what you reach might not match what you thought it would give back. After I passed them, I kept going, not faster, not proud, just forward, with something I didn't expect. Less behind, more ahead, still quiet. It came in quietly, not loud, not sharp, just a sentence that fit the moment too well. You've done enough, this is sounds fine. Words that didn't push just settled like they belonged in my head. No sudden drop, no breaking point, just a slow shift toward stopping that felt completely reasonable. The thought that almost won wasn't wrong, wasn't weak, just close enough to ending before something stayed. My pace adjusted without asking, not slower, just less certain, like I had already decided something. The road didn't change, but I did not fully, not clearly, just leaning toward leaving. I've pushed through pain before, 4 steps held pace, but this didn't feel like that. The thought that almost won didn't shout, didn't fight, it simply waited long enough to be accepted. For someone it's fatigue, for someone just doubt, for someone it's that quiet line they don't notice crossing. And none of it looks the same, still it leads to a place where stopping feels like sense. No argument to resist, no reason to deny, just a moment that could have ended everything. The thought that almost won still counts, still stays, not because it left, but because I didn't follow it. Not every battle is loud, some almost end before they begin. And what held wasn't strength, just something that didn't let go yet. The thought that almost won became what I passed, not clearly, not proudly, but just enough to keep going. It stayed close, still I moved. I didn't notice what would stay, no moment to decide what mattered enough to remain. Some things faded without sound, some disappeared along the way, but a few kept returning without asking. I tried to choose what to keep, what to build, what to become, but it never worked that cleanly. What stayed became me, not planned, not shaped, just everything that remained when other things fell away. There were efforts that didn't last, goals that didn't hold, things I thought would define me but didn't. And then there were smaller things, quiet habits, repeated days that never left. Even when I questioned them, I've looked for meaning in big moments, clear shifts, visible change, but this didn't form that way. What stayed became me, without asking, without proof, not built in a line, but in what refused to disappear. For someone, it's showing up, for someone, just a day, for someone, it's holding on when letting go made sense. And none of it looks the same, still it gathers into something they carry forward. No scale to measure, no line to reach, just time that shaped what remained. What stayed became me, still counts, still holds, not because it's visible, but because it endured. Not everything you do becomes you, only what you don't let go of, and what you carry through time quietly becomes more real than anything you choose once. What stayed became me is where I stand today, not finished, not defined, but built from everything that remained. No design, no claim, still me. It didn't start with a plan, no clear path to follow, just small things repeated without being named. Nothing stood out day to day, no moment to days I questioned if this was anything or just time passing through me. Nothing felt different, nothing felt new. Still I kept showing up without knowing why. I waited for proof, for something to confirm, but it never arrives that way. What came from consistency doesn't explain, doesn't prove. It forms in ways I don't track while I move. For someone it's distance, for someone just today. Someone, it's the first time they didn't walk away. And none of it looks the same, still it builds into something they didn't expect to become. No comparison to hold, no scale to match, just effort that stayed with me. What came from consistency still counts, still stays, not because it's seen, but because I didn't stop. Some take shape before you notice they're there, and what you built might already be more than you think right now. What came from consistency is where I stand today, not finished, not defined, but further than I once thought. No moment, the shoe stays still by the door. No early step, no quiet street, just time passing without movement. The body held something back, not broken, not gone, just enough to say, not today. I've measured days by distance, by effort, by how far I went, but these don't fit that line. Days I couldn't run still count, still stay. Not because I moved, but because I didn't leave this. For someone it's pain, for someone just wait. For someone it's a reason they can't explain, and none of it looks the same. Still it holds them in place for now. I've waited to feel ready, to feel right, to feel clear, but these days don't change that way. The road didn't leave, it stayed unchanged, still there waiting without asking anything. And something remained even here, not in motion but in not letting go. No proof to show, no step to mark, just time that didn't break me. Days I couldn't run still count, still build. Not because I moved forward, but because I didn't turn away. Not every step is taken, some are held until they can be again. And what you keep in stillness might be stronger than anything you show. Days I couldn't run are part of me, not lost, not wasted, just something I carry through. No step, no run, still here. No step, no run, still here. I thought I knew my limits, where I slow, where I stop, lines I've drawn more than once without question. They felt accurate, reliable, a way to understand what I couldn't do. I've stayed within those boundaries, adjusted effort to match what I believed was true. Beyond what I knew, there's no signal, no map, just a when something continues without asking if I belong here or not. No decision to make, no boundary to hold, just movement that doesn't return to before. Beyond what I knew still counts, still stays, not because I understand, but because I didn't stop. Not everything is learned, some things are only reached, and what I found out here wasn't planned, just something I didn't turn back from. Beyond what I knew became where I stand, not clearly, not completely, but further than I've ever been. No map, no name, still beyond. This point again, same as before, not the start, not the end, just a place I've stood too many times. The pace drops slightly, breath gets shorter, nothing breaks, just enough to make stopping reasonable. I've ended runs right here, called it enough, called it done, left without thinking twice. I go past this, not faster, not strong, just one step that didn't stop where it used to. The thought appears on time, you've done enough, this is fine. Familiar words that used to land without question, but now they don't settle, they pass through without holding anything in place. I've waited to feel different, stronger legs, clear mind, but this point stays the same. I go past this without proof, without plan, just a line I didn't accept again. The road doesn't shift for me, it doesn't ease or respond, still it stretches beyond what I expect. And maybe that's enough, no promise, no sign, just distance that still exists ahead. No argument to win, no doubt to erase, just a step that continues anyway. I go past this, not louder, not clear, just something that didn't end this time. Not every barrier needs force, some just need not stopping yet, and what I pass right now won't show, but it changes everything after. I go past this and I keep moving, not because it's easy, but because I didn't stay. Same place, new step, still forward. It didn't start with a change, no clear shift to mark, just the same day continuing after I said it. Nothing responded, no reaction, no sign it mattered, still something stayed in how I moved after. I've said things that passed, words that faded without weight, but this didn't follow that pattern. The reality I spoke didn't appear all at once, it stayed in the background of everything I didn't undo. The road felt unchanged, same distance, same rhythm, but each step held something slightly different. Not heavier, not clearer, just connected to something I had already set in place. I've waited for confirmation, for something to prove it was real, but it never arrived that way. The reality I spoke didn't need proof, didn't ask it formed through what I didn't leave. everything after. And what I created that day was invisible yet. It was already real. The reality I spoke became my path, not chosen again, not redefined, just lived step by step. No signal, no proof, still it stayed. I said it once without checking. No build-up, no clear plan, just a line that left before I measured what it meant. The room stayed unchanged, same light, same space, but something shifted in how I stood inside it. I've said things that passed, words that faded without weight, but this didn't leave with me. I spoke it into reality, not prepared, not ready, just a sentence that stayed longer than doubt. No one marked that moment, no signal to confirm, still it followed me into everything after. The road felt slightly altered, not different in form, but attached to something I couldn't undo. I've waited for certainty, for proof, for alignment, but none of it arrived before that. I spoke it into reality before I knew how, not a decision I could trace, just something I didn't take back. There were exits still open, ways to forget, ways to adjust. Nothing forced me forward yet, but that sentence remained unmoved, unrevised, quietly present in everything. No pressure from outside, no demand to prove, just the weight of what I said holding. I spoke it into reality and it stayed with me, not loudly, not clearly, but in every step I didn't skip. Some words don't describe, they define what follows after. And what I said that day became something I couldn't step outside of. I spoke it into reality, now I move not because I'm ready, but because it's real. No plan, no proof, still I said it. Nothing to say about today, no change I can name, just the same route, holding another quiet return. The body moved without comment, no signal, no shift, just repetition that didn't ask to be noticed. I've looked for proof, something clear, numbers, lines, a reason to confirm it's working. Progress without a voice doesn't speak, doesn't show, it moves beneath what I can tell, and still it grows. The breath stayed unchanged, no easier, no harder, just a rhythm that continues without explanation. There were moments I questioned if this was anything or just time repeating. I've waited for something to answer back, a sign, a shift, a difference I could hold. Progress without a voice doesn't prove, doesn't ask, it forms beyond what I follow yet. The road returned, nothing new, same distance, same shape, but something remained after I left. Not in pace, not in time, just in how I came back again without thinking. No moment to define, no change to announce, just accumulation without language. Progress without a voice still counts. stopped adjusting before I arrived. No final polish, no second pass. Just left it as it was and walked out. The details stayed slightly off, edges not aligned, nothing corrected, nothing hidden. Before this moment, I've shaped things until they fit, refined them until they felt right, but it never held for long. No refinement, still present, no final form to hold, just standing here with everything left as it is. The doubts still come, precise and quiet. You could fix this, clean this up. Familiar patterns I used to follow without pause, but now they pass without weight. No need to respond, no urge to rework what I've brought. I've waited for cleaner lines, better shape, clearer form, but nothing arrives complete. No refinement, still present, unfinished, unpolished, no correction to apply, just the state I didn't change. The road doesn't ask for alignment, it doesn't care what I fixed, it meets what appears as it stands. And today I arrived without edits, without layers, just the version that continued through. No more shaping, no more revising, just the form I stayed in. No refinement, still present, no disguise, no repair, just real in a way I don't need to explain. Some things don't improve, they settle when you stop working on them. And what remains without change is closer to truth than anything perfected. No refinement, still present, and that is enough. Not because it's complete, but because it's here. No bullets, no polish, still standing. Nothing feels complete, but no clean edge to hold. Just fragments of effort carried into this moment. I check for signs, read the body, listen for clarity, but nothing aligned the way I expected. I've defined ready in sharper terms, clear signal, strong form, something that confirms I belong here. Not perfect, still present, no final proof, no clean line, just standing here with everything I didn't leave behind. The doubt still moves through quietly, not loud, not urgent, just familiar enough to almost follow. But it doesn't settle like before, it passes through the same space without changing where I stand. I've waited to feel certain, to feel complete, to feel enough, but it never arrives fully. Not perfect, still present, unfinished, unclear, no guarantee to hold just this moment I didn't step away from. The road doesn't ask for perfection, it takes what shows up as it is without question. And today I showed up not ready, not unready, just here in a way that holds. No more shaping, no more fixing, just the state I arrived in. Not perfect, still present, no correction, no disguise, just real in a way I can't replace. Not everything needs to resolve, some things just need to stand. Go final check, changes this, the list is done. The bag is closed, everything I packed fits into what I've been lately.